Hey guys, Boris from BK Forex. Welcome to our Forex Daily Technicals for 12/18/13. As always, trading foreign exchange margin carries a high level of made visible for all investors. I ask you to read this disclaimer very carefully to understand all the associated with trading on margin and to seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Well, it's pre-FOMC night, so things are relatively quiet in FX land. Euro is showing relative strength here today. We kind of traced back down to 37.22, got bought, and then took ourselves back up relatively to the day's highs. We're still capped by the 38 level. This is really a big level. And in some ways, it feels like we're really setting up for here. If we have a no taper, relatively dovish, no forward guidance move on the Fed, feels like we just want to bust through this. And it's really going to be a very key thing. If we can bust through this, more importantly, tomorrow, if not only do we just bust through this, if we close above the 38.30s on the yearly highs, that would be certainly a very bullish impulse. Conversely, if we move to the downside, the key thing here to the downside is just how deep and sharp we move. Because if we have one of these knee-jerk reactions where we move to the downside, the Fed basically, let's say, does decide that it's going to signal a taper. We move to the downside, then we kind of come off and end up at relatively unchanged levels. That would suggest that we have such a powerful technical move behind this that almost nothing can scuttle this move. That would actually be incredibly bullish in many ways if we refuse to fall on Euro bad news tomorrow. So either way, it's definitely going to be, I think, a volatile session, and one we should be watching very carefully. All the fun starts at 2 p.m. New York time tomorrow. It's pretty much until then it's going to be relatively quiet, I think. We do have IFO on the euro tonight, so that may give us a boost to 38, but I don't think it's going to push us anywhere further beyond that, as we kind of going to tread water ahead of the report. Dollar starting to hit, rally a little bit here, I think probably off the Nikkei in Asian session, but we did test a 102.50 here. So far, if you look at this on a longer term basis, we're still making higher lows. We're still in a upward channel. We just tested sort of the bottom side of the upward channel. But the key thing here, of course, is a retake of the 104s. We failed in front of the 104s. It's still operating as a dominant point of top here. And until and unless we break this topping formation, the path of resistance in dollar yen is still to the downside. Today is a counter trend rally. Tomorrow we could see shoot up, but again, the test is going to be really how well we trade at around these 103.90 levels. If we can bypass this, close at 104s, very dollar bullish. If we just kind of fly up there and come right back down, close below 103.50s, that actually is going to be, I think, a negative construct for dollar yen. So very much worth watching that. Cable has been weak all week long, and today we ran down to the 62.50s. Really had a small bounce. Really have not had as strong a bounce as you would think. Still likely we might be able to test the 62 level. Cable has been notorious just sort of working off of this big rally. In a way, it's a canary in the coal mine. It's been the first to rally and now the first to correct. So it's going to be interesting to see if it's going to lead Euro and everybody else to the downside tomorrow if we get some dollar strength news. And of course, Aussie continues to melt. Today we tested the 89s. We bounced back since then in Asian session because Stevens basically said he wasn't immediately ready for intervention, or he wasn't in favor of intervention initially. But the bottom line is tremendous amount of downside pressure here. We did have a bounce back off of this in today's session, but if we test these lows again and break them, the next level, of course, is the 88.50 lows for the yearly lows. So it'll be interesting to see if today was sort of the emotional test to the downside, or whether we're going to get some further push as we go along. So that's kind of how things shape up for tonight. It's all going to be about FOMC. It's all going to be about the key levels on the yearly breaks in both the euro and the yen. And the rest of the majors will kind of play second fiddle to all of this as it develops. Wishing you guys the best of luck, the best of trading. Boris Schlossberg over and out.